Good morning and welcome to Farming Simulator 17. It's out, and I am incredibly excited about spending some time in Giant's latest iteration of Farming Simulator. And we're here on a farm you've probably seen if you've watched any Farming Simulator 17 videos at all, because it's the new kind of default map in the game. It's Goldcrest Valley, and we're going to be spending some time in it, just like a lot of other people are, and getting a feel for what the new game has to offer. We're going to jump in our pickup here. We just finished helping out a neighbor with a little bit of work on her farm, and we're going to head back to our farm and see what there is to do. I recently started a kind of a realism-based long play on Thornton Farm for Farming Simulator 15, and if you've watched any of those episodes, you've probably heard me mention at one point or another that I was a bit skeptical about the new version of the game here. I was assuming that Farming Simulator 17 would be a little bare bones out of the box, and that it would take some time for modders to kind of get up to speed and to make the experience really something that would be long-lasting and I don't know, more robust in the way that I've really come to appreciate Farming Simulator 15's robustness. And I think I was a little bit too skeptical about it. I've spent a little bit of time with Farming Simulator 17 now, and I gotta say, I'm really impressed with all of the features that they've added to the game. So, the game's really won me over so far, and I haven't spent that much time with it yet, but we're going to spend some time together here on Goldcrest Valley as we do kind of a long playthrough of building this farm into something great. You've probably already seen the farm before, but we'll do a quick little farm tour here. We don't have much in the way of equipment. In Farming Simulator, I typically like to dump all of the starting equipment and build a collection of my own from scratch. So I've done that on this map as well. Sold back all the implements it starts us with, and kind of reimburse our money for that and start off buying equipment from scratch. But we do have some pallets here and a front loader here. Go past our utility shed here and see what we have in the way of harvesting equipment and tractors. You won't see as dramatic of a difference in this game with the equipment that I start out buying, because in 15, usually when you start off in Farming Simulator 15, the default equipment is equipment that I'm not too fond of. Usually get just equipment, just brands and models of equipment that I kind of hate and want to get rid of as soon as I can. But in 17, they actually start you off with some pretty nice pieces of equipment, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of 80s and 90s, just kind of chunky old tractors and harvesters, and you get a nice selection of that kind of stuff when you start a game in Farming Simulator 17. I'm actually keeping the default starting case harvester here, the 1660, and I actually am keeping a New Holland 8340, but I also have a very nice modded Ford branded 8340 here too, with crop row tires that we're going to be using on this farm. The New Holland version is out in the field already, because I've already started working one of our 3 starting fields here. So we're going to head out that way, go past the house here, jog a little bit. If you know this map at all, you know the chicken coops over here. Probably don't have any eggs waiting for us at the moment, but we'll take a quick glance. So, yeah, we do have one over there. Let's hop in there and grab an egg here. Sell. Next time we're by an egg sell point. Go. And we'll hop the fence over this way. So I just kind of passed it by quickly here. We have a water tanker because we're going to start with some pig farming fairly soon here. Probably some sheep farming too. I need to buy a little bit more equipment for that. We're starting with 2 small tractors. Pretty much identical tractors, other than, like I said, their branding. One's a branded New Holland, one's branded Ford, but they're both those 8340s. We do have a forage wagon, and we don't have any baling equipment, so we're doing for a short period of time here as we start this map. We're going to be doing just loose straw and hay, handling, and hopefully that won't last for long because I think that's going to get a bit too much to handle pretty quickly here. Let's see our existing pile of straw that we collected as I harvested this first field. This field here starts off with some crops on it, and I did harvest it. We have the grain in our silo right now, and I just wanted to start off with kind of a clean slate in all three of our fields, and we're going to tend to them simultaneously. We're going to be I need to finish some plowing, and then we're going to be doing a little bit of cultivating here, and we're going to be doing our planting, fertilizing, that kind of stuff in the very near future here. And I just want to kind of do all of those fields at the same time. Got one more shelter here that we don't have any equipment for yet. Got our silos. It's kind of the walk around our yard here. Got our hay barn here, which I wish was for a little bit more than just selling bales. It's just our bale sell point. You take any straw or hay or grass, bales or loose, near this point, and they will get sold. Well, that's fine. And what we need to do is head toward our rear field back here, which is where I have the New Holland sitting with our plow on it, and we're going to finish plowing this field. I really love playing Farming Simulator with a lot of realism mods, and Farming Simulator 17 is no exception to that. And I'm using pretty much all of the popular kind of realism-focused mods that are out right now, including the Giants collection of the 4 Real series of mods. I was going to start a game without the crop destruction mod because I'd heard from several people that there were some issues with it. It wasn't recognizing crop row tires. It was really mangling people's oilseed radish crops in a way that it shouldn't have. But it looks like Giants released a new version of it that has fixed all of those problems, so I am using it. So we'll need to be very careful about what we're driving over as we get started on this map. That's a big reason for why I have the other tractor with the crop row tires on it, the narrow tires that can drive over crops without completely destroying them. So this is our other Ford New Holland 8340 here. This is the default version, and we have one of the game's new plows on it, Salford here, and it's worked pretty well from what I've seen so far. I really like having the tire on the back for some support. Helps out with these small tractors. And we've got a weight on the front here. Nice barrel weight, very similar to one I used to use back in Farming Simulator 15, but now it's a default part of the game. And let's jump into our tractor here. One other mod that I am using is the GPS mod, which is really helpful for me, especially when I'm doing things like plowing. I like to get nice straight lines, and GPS mod is a good way to do it. So I'm going to pop that open here. There does seem to be a bug with the newest version of the GPS mod as far as saving courses and loading courses, and I'm getting kind of a strange crash every time I try to do that. Try to load a saved course, that is. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to make a new course here, and that's going to overhang what we've already plowed a little bit, but not too much, and that's fine. Let's see, it's already set, and I guess that's about all we need. We're not going to have it turn automatically or anything. I just want it to help give us some straight lines here. So drive up here, get us on the field, and away we go. Before I go too far here, let me turn off those lines. They can be a little bit distracting. And with a small plow like this, we have a pretty narrow lane that we're plowing, and it just gets it can get a little bit frustrating for me. Some people find it easier than others, but I always find it a little bit frustrating to be driving in first person here and just be missing little patches here and there because I'm not going in a perfectly straight line. The GPS mod helps out a lot with that. So we reach the end of the field here. We'll raise up our plow. We'll need to do a headland at the end to get some of this stubble at the end of the field here. Do a couple rounds after we've got the rest of the field done. This is a really versatile plow here with this wheel on it. It turns nice and easy. It's just really, it's really nice for a little tractor like this. So one of the things I really, really like about Farming Simulator 17 so far is how much more complex the kind of soil nutrient mechanic of the game has gotten. I really like playing Farming Simulator 15 with Soil Mod and some of the complexities that come along with that, keeping nutrients kind of balanced in the soil, tending to the pH and stuff, and moisture and things like that. And while it's not quite as complicated as that in Farming Simulator 17 in the vanilla game, it does. It's kind of a halfway point in between vanilla Farming Simulator 15 and Farming Simulator 15 with Soil Mod. It's surprisingly complex with the ability to add up to 3 layers of fertilization. You can do that in a variety of ways. As you're growing crops, you can spray them 3 times in 3 different growth cycles to get kind of an ideal harvest from that field. You can use the oilseed radishes and plow them under to increase the yield of a field. Occasional plowing helps contribute to the yield of any given field. I feel like there's one other thing that I'm forgetting as a mechanic that can add to the fertilization count. But there's a lot more. There's a lot more to do now during the growth of crops to help raise the yield. In 15, you could fertilize a field once at any time during its growth, using any method that you liked, whether it was spraying fertilizer or spreading fertilizer, spreading manure, putting down slurry. You could do any of those things, and it would. You only had to do one of those things, and it would count. It would kind of tick off a fertilized box for that field. And nothing else you did fertilizer-wise mattered. Once you fertilized it once, it was as good as it was going to get in Farming Simulator 15. But in 17, there are a lot of kind of new options and new ways of doing things that are that make a difference in the yield of a field, and I really like it. I'm finding it so far to be a really nice balance between the old vanilla and the old system with Soil Mod. For as much as I like Soil Mod in Farming Simulator 15, it did get to be a bit tedious with on grass fields. It always seemed like the grass fields took a little bit too much work to maintain and get a maximum yield out of. Weeds are a constant problem with Soil Mod in the old game, and they could quickly cause a field, especially a field if you didn't own a field and you were planning on buying it later in the game. If you didn't get to it quick enough, weeds could create some real weird imbalances in the nutrition or the health of the soil in a given field, and it could make it really hard to repair a field and sort of get the soil back to a consistent, good level of nutrients. I'd say that was probably my least favorite part of Soil Mod, is trying to rehabilitate a field after it had been sort of wrecked by weeds, which was often the case if you waited to buy a field until later in the game. In 17, with the default system, it has some new complexity to it, but that headache is gone at least. You do have to worry about fertilizing the fields that you're tending to, but if you don't own a field, it's not going to waste away and get ruined until you buy it. The neighbors are going to, kind of in a background sort of way, tend to it, and it's going to be in good shape by the time you get your hands on it. But you'll still be able to do some of the more complex fertilizing once you do start tending to it. Kind of rambling about Soil Mod and the fertilizing and stuff here, but it's one of one of my favorite parts of the game to think about and kind of plan for. I really like this plow. There's so much about the new game to like, too. There's a great selection of new equipment. Really like some of the changes that they've made with livestock. The interface is so much better. I don't know if I play a lot of games that have very active modding communities, and I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of another game that has, or another game where the developers have taken so many good ideas from the modding community and integrated them into the next iteration of their game. Just off the top of my head, there may have been, kind of maybe a dozen gameplay mods that I considered to be like must-have mods in Farming Simulator 15, and out of that dozen, maybe 10 of those are now incorporated into the core game, which is great because they're integrated in a really fluid way, in a really intuitive way, I think, also. So we do need to plow all of our fields. They are all due for a plow. The way it works with the new system in Farming Simulator 17 is that every 3 harvests, you can plow your field to receive a. I don't know if it's receiving a bonus to your yields, or if it's a penalty if you don't plow. I think it's a penalty if you don't plow. But you need to occasionally plow your fields, rather than simply cultivate them, which I think is great. It adds a reason to plow to the game. In 15, you could plow, just for the fun of it and sort of to create your own realism. But there's really no good reason to plow unless you were making new fields or joining fields. If you were just planting and harvesting in a regular old field, you're usually much better off using a cultivator because you could cover more ground. The idea that you have to use the plow every few harvests to keep the soil in good shape, I think, is a nice addition to the game. Since I kind of cleaned house before we got started here with this series, there are some pieces of equipment that I haven't bought yet. I don't have a cultivator, I don't have a sowing machine, and I don't have any of our fertilization equipment. I'll need to buy those as needed. That's what I've been doing on this map so far, is kind of buying things as needed. Sure it's working here. I do need to plow our other fields, like I said, our other 2 fields. But once I get this one done, I think we'll run down to the store and we're going to buy a trailer to transport some livestock. I want to get going with pigs, a new addition to Farming Simulator. I want to get going with some pig farming fairly early. Also sheeps too, but I'll probably wait until next time to do that. But I want to buy a trailer, buy some pigs, and bring them back to our pig yard and get them up and running. Oops. Lift that up and back up a little bit here. Get GPS mod in the right row here. There we go. right, we finished off field 14, and we have, I did a couple passes at each end of that field to clear out the rest of that stubble that I'd left behind. And we're now ready to plow fields 12 and 15. But first, we're going to take a little break from plowing and go to the store, get a livestock trailer, take that down to Mary's farm at the southeast of the map, and buy some new pigs, our first foray into livestock farming in Farming Simulator 17. All right, we're here at the store here in our small town here in Goldcrest Valley, kind of a small Pacific Northwestern town. Has a nice feel to it. The map, altogether, my impression of the map so far is that it feels a little bit gamey. It doesn't necessarily feel like a real lived-in world like some of my favorite modded maps for FS15 did. But that's okay. There are a lot of good like proof of concepts on this map. The train system seems really interesting. Not really necessary on this map. It's a little bit shoehorned in a space this size, but it really makes me think of the possibilities for using that system on another map in the future. I'm sure modders are picking pieces of this map apart and figuring out how to integrate some of the new mechanics into their own maps, which is great. But for gameplay purposes, it's a fine map. It looks nice. It looks Pacific Northwest. Personally, I'm a big fan of like small like English farming maps more than American farming maps, but this is fine, and it's well done and it's well polished, which is great. But we're here in, as you just saw on the map there, if you see the blinking icon, we're down at the southwest of the map now at the shop, and we're gonna swing by the store here and buy a livestock trailer. A lot of great new additions, and I'd be here all day if I pointed out everything that I really liked here in the all of the new additions to the store. A lot of great brands, models, types of implements. It's just a lot of great stuff that I'm excited to use. But for now, we need to go to animal handling, and where is animal handling? Animals, all right. And we're going to buy, we already have a water tanker for them, and we're going to buy this Betamax RDS 7500 for $24,000, and we can transport all of our animals with that. We can actually have animals delivered straight to our farm, but for pigs, we're going to need to transport them to market once we get the pigs breeding and get pigs fattened up and ready for market, and we're going to need to take them there. So with sheep, we could get away without a trailer probably, and it'd be fine. Same for dairy cows, at least for in the short term. But for pigs, we're going to need a trailer anyway, so we might as well save ourselves the transportation costs of having pigs delivered and take them to our farm ourselves. All right, I believe this is one of two roads that lead down to Mary's farm. This might be the more scenic of the two. And I haven't been down this way yet, so we'll head down there. Being the Pacific Northwest, there are a lot of rises and sheer rock faces and things like that around this map. It means there's not a lot of open grassland in between fields, and I think at some point we may need to fill a field entirely with grass just to have a nice flat place to mow and make hay out of. But we'll see how it goes. Got another neighbor's field down here. I have mixed feelings about the new mission system in FS17. When I first heard about how it was going to work and saw it in action in some other people's videos, I was thinking, it seems very shallow. You make way too much money for doing a few minutes of work on someone else's equipment, on someone else's field. But as I've had the chance to dive in and do some for myself, I have to admit it does shake up gameplay a little bit. It is nice to be able to do something different, use some equipment that you don't own personally that you might not typically play with. Get to drive an unusual tractor that you usually don't get to spend time with. I've warmed to it slightly. It is nice to make a little extra money, and in the grand scheme of things, making an extra $5,000 or even $10,000 for not a lot of work isn't a huge game changer. It's not It's not making us rich to the point of spoiling the game. So I was more critical of it before I spent more time with it, and I've warmed up to the system. I'll probably keep doing some missions to bring in some extra money here, especially as we get started. We are playing on hard, so grain prices are a little lower than they would typically be on normal. Our other costs are a little bit higher. Everything's a little bit harder, so we do need to squeeze as much money as we can out of our fields. So we're here, and this is Emerson's livestock market. Mary's farm is just across the way there. And this is where we buy livestock. And I believe I can get this key here and put livestock into my trailer. Now, if I didn't have a trailer, I could still buy livestock and have them delivered, but it would charge me a fee. I imagine if I bought 9 pigs like I'm doing now, it might charge me an extra $1,000 or a couple $1,000 to deliver those to my farm. Not a huge amount of money, but it's more that amount of money is more important to us here at the start of the game than it will be later on. So we want to save money where we can. So we've brought our trailer down here, paying $27,000 for 9 pigs, which is as many pigs as we can fit into this trailer. So it's a full load. And yes, we want to buy those. And now we should be able to see. If you look through the open spaces there, you can see 9 pigs. So we are now in the livestock business. Alright, making a turn here, and this road, which is kind of in the central northern half of our map here, that's going to lead us to our pig farming area. Pig pens up here. And let's see, where are they? I've been up here before, but I haven't come in from this way before. So they may sneak up on me. I think this is them right here. So, oops. Oh, I think I missed my first turn, so I'll take the next turn on the left here. I definitely have some getting used to this map to do. Alright, so this is where our pigs are going to live. Here is our slurry tank here that we'll be drawing liquid fertilizer from. There, I presume this is our solid manure bunker here. And I think this is our loading point on the right here for these animals. So we will back them in, get them loaded up. We don't have any of our animal tending equipment here, so we'll probably do that next time. Get them the water and the straw and the grain that they need to survive for now. I think we can also buy. We're not really in the financial shape to do it, but I think you can actually buy. Go over here. You can actually buy pig feed. That's kind of an ideal mix of feed for pigs, but I don't think we're in good enough shape to be putting out a lot of money for that at this point. So we're gonna have them survive on just wheat for a little while until we can get some corn and soybeans going for them. Let's see. Let me look at commands here. We'll lower that trailer, and then I think. Let's see. Not there, not there. Oh, open dialogue. All right. So here we go. So our trailer is at the drop-off point. We can unload 9 pigs. Confirm that. Yep. Let's jump out of the tractor here and take a look at our handiwork. We now have 9 pigs here in our pig pens here. Man, do the visuals look good on those. If you ever played Farming Simulator 15 with the pig and beef mod installed, you'll know that it's a really cool mod. Really lent a lot to the game, but man, some of those visuals were pretty basic. Once you got pigs with the pig and beef mod, they'd be pretty much just static low-res models, kind of placeholders for pigs. These look so much more lifelike in comparison. I'm really looking forward to doing some livestock work with these guys here. Oh, that looks great. So yeah, we'll need to tend to them in the near future here. We'll save that for next episode. We've got their food trough there and a water trough over here. and I believe a straw tipping point back here where we can blow in some bedding, and that'll allow us to collect some manure from the pigs here, which is great. And yeah, well, with that, I think we'll call it a day. To do the tending that we need to do with these pigs, I'll need to haul some other equipment up here. Need to get some grain up here somehow. Need to get the forage wagon with some straw in it. All that good stuff. It's going to be quite a bit of transportation, and I'll do that off camera, so you don't have to watch me lugging stuff in between the farm and the main farm and here. But next time I see you, and hopefully I will see you again, we'll do that, and then get back to some field work. I really do appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed it today. Our first episode here on Goldcrest Valley Farm. I know a lot of people are doing Goldcrest right now because it's the map to try out. It's got it's the default map with all the new features integrated into it. So it's a popular map these days. But I appreciate you spending some time on Goldcrest with me, and I hope you'll join me again for the next episode. Do the usual YouTube things if you want. If you liked what you saw, like, subscribe, that kind of thing. I always really appreciate that. And with that, I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.